game analytics company Delta has published its survey results for 2018, sharing data taken from a survey of 336 developers of free-to-play mobile games over a 12-month period. The findings could be useful for mobile developers who might want some insight into how they do like to monetize their game in the future. The survey revealed that, even though the majority are casual and hardcore, Gamasutra is still learning how more of their revenue from in-app purchases. Ad revenue is finally becoming viable. A majority of casual game developers make less than 40% of their revenue from ads, but 16% said they earn 80% more from the same source. In comparison, 70% of hardcore game developers said their games made more than 20% of revenue from ads, up from only 50% reporting the same amount last year. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate surpassed 3 million sales in the U.S. during its first 11 days on shelves, according to Nintendo's own internal sales data. That makes Ultimate the fastest-selling Switch game of all time in the States, and also the fastest-selling title in the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. The massive brawler has been performing well in other regions as well, having sold 1.23 million copies in Japan during its launch weekend, another record for the series. Meanwhile, Nintendo also revealed the Switch has been the fastest-selling current-gen console in the U.S. for the past 21 months, having sold more than 8.7 million units in that time. Those hardware sales, however, do not account for the launch of Ultimate, which Nintendo claims will give the Switch extra impetus as the holidays continue. So these personalized videos, showcasing the games played and trophies earned by PlayStation users have inadvertently revealed how many people have played each game, thanks to calculations made from trophy stats. It's important to note that this player data is not indicative of total sales for any particular game, but it's still pretty notable as this seems to be the first instance of information like this being publicly available. First noticed by Reddit.com. They explain how these videos, dubbed by Sony as My PS4 Life, can provide players statistics, giving what looks like pretty accurate numbers on how many PS4 users are playing a specific game. Gamasutra claims to have calculated the figures from information on the trophies provided in the My PS4 Live videos. The personalized videos tell players the name of the rarest trophy they have earned, in addition to how many other players also have the same achievement. By combining these figures with percentages for the trophies provided on the PlayStation website, Gamasutra says they have been able to figure out how many people have at least started playing the games. Here, 764 players earned the Photo Bomber trophy in Fallout 76, the post explains. And on PlayStation.com it's revealed that 83% of all players got this trophy. Simple math. The total number of people who have played Fallout 76 on PS4 33,764 multiplied by 100%, 3% 406.
795.
They also pointed out in the post that while the calculations give a general idea of player numbers, the figures were taken from a specific time window, and will not say much about recently released games. To check out the entire Reddit post, click here. This post that originates from the site Narrative Construction contains no spoilers. But if you hold a belief that some designers are mysterious, and that their games are magic, I would advise thinking twice before deciding to read the post. The title, Putting into Play, is inspired by the term as scene, which means putting into a scene, put on stage. The term had its origin in theater, and was later picked up by film scholars as to have a way of referring to the practice of directing, planning and controlling the elements for the desired effect on a stage in a frame of a film. Since the term isn't established in games, but where the concept could provide an overlook of the stylish elements that are to be organized and arranged in the creation of a film, my intention is not to put a new term into play. What I will put into play are the thoughts that precede the choice of elements that are to become the parts of the desired form of an engaging and dynamic game system. This isn't the first time in propelling thoughts as mean to show how the initial thoughts matter to the construction of a concept. But what differs, putting into play, from the former 24 posts, where I have used propellers, radiators, grandmothers, contract killers, Cinderella's shoe, and even Walter White's underwear, as a mean to describe the narrative, from a cognitive perspective in construction of an experience, is that I will, from now, leave the old analogies. The cause is due to a 7th-grade model of causal thinking, Gretton Firth, Lombard, 2017, that explains how our thinking and understanding works. As to be more precise, it shows what is going on inside the head, which make us act and react. So from now on, due to the shift in approach, if you would like hands-on advice regarding game-specific elements associated with the narrative, according to how the roles and responsibilities are currently sectioned on an organizational level in the industry, on writing plot summaries, quests, narrative branched choices and conversation systems, I recommend reading the writer and narrative designer Alexander Frey's blog here, on Gamasutra here, to explain what I mean by putting a thought into play, and how the initial thought matters to what is to become a game. I will take an example from an interview with the writer Dan Hauser from 2010. Link to the interview is here. When he describes the initial thoughts that preceded the making of the Wild West open world game Red Dead Redemption 2010, developed by Rockstar Studios, the core idea of the game to make a fast-paced shooting game with the sensibilities of a fighting game was very interesting, and was done really well. But we love open world games, and in finishing Red Dead Revolver, we also fell in love with the Wild West. The main thing we wanted to keep and expand upon from Red Dead Revolver was the core sensibilities of the gunplay, which we all really loved. The rest, we wanted to start over and make a game that was vast and epic in scope. Since Red Dead Redemption 2 has recently been released, one can see how the initial thoughts that were put into play 8 years ago have evolved. From the old concept to Red Dead Revolver, from 2004, with gunplay as its core mechanic, the thoughts to make a game that was vast and epic in scope has reached a new level. What this means is that Hauser and his team has given the open world game vast and epic in scope a new meaning. And for you who haven't played the games, the new meaning that has been given to the second game was not only to make the world map bigger. What the team did was to move into the details of the game by letting their thoughts give depth to as many objects as possible, giving each a unique mechanic, which created an even more dynamic world compared to the first that met undo epic in scope. Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar Games. To understand how our thinking works when taking off from a thought towards the desired outcome, I'm going to take help from the 7th grade model of reasoning, which is based on the evolution of causal cognition, and where causal cognition is described by Christopher and Lombard, 2017. A. To predict outcomes based on observations. B. To affect and control events in the world around us. And C. Ultimately, to predict causes from effects, even if the causes are not perceivable. Since the grades in the model distinguish with an increased level how the causal thinking of the human work, other thinking, and where the first grades only involve the perception of agency, unless we don't want to explore the agency from that hazard motor commands when pressing the key that makes the computer start. I will jump the first grade and give you a glimpse of the second. Before we are moving on to the more intriguing grades, the illustrations and descriptions that will be shown are from the post, a short guide to the 7-grade model, link to post, that go to the origin of our thinking started long before the computer age.